Alrighty, folks, welcome to Hit and Sit Show, episode number 2, which is a good sign. That means that we survived episode number 1. You guys survived episode number 1, which means we're back now for episode number 2. So I'm David Garland, the founder of Siteman Pure. We're a first-year conference team, host of the Siteman Softball Podcast. And I'm going to go around to our way more esteemed panel and colleagues here today with a quick introduction. I'm just going to fly around the room so that we can get right into the meat and potatoes here today. So we've got Mr. Jason Magnum. Give us a little wave, Jason. How are you? Catcher for Monsta Major team, D-Marini hitter. We got Mr. Joel Sanchez, shortstop for S&E, and also, I have here in my notes, a former Marine. We're getting very specific. We talked military last time. Now we're getting very specific. Former Marine. And then our third J on the show, making his debut, is John Natolly, pitcher and sponsor for Chick-fil-A, Slugger, BAF, LBT. Hope I didn't miss anything. Virginia AA team that has won, and this is crazy, we'll talk about this later on the show, back-to-back major championships, Atlanta and Virginia. John, great to have you. Welcome to your debut here on Hit and Sit.
Thank you.
And, of course, we've got the glue that holds this whole thing together. It's Mr. DW, Dale Weiser from Conference USSSA.com, does all the media and way more for Conference USSSA. So, gentlemen, we're going to talk about the 240 bats. This is year number 2 of the 240 bats, right? And we're going to go around kind of talk about thoughts on this. Have they created more parity in the major division? And you could also say, I would also add to that, more parity in conference, right? Have they made major teams more vulnerable to lower class teams or not? This has improved the game? Just hearing the thoughts about 240 bats, because I've heard varying things on them, and I'd be very interested in this. Let's start. Let's kick it back to Joel on this one as well. Joel, we're going to put you right on the spot. You're our kickoff for this question.
Well, I'm glad you started with me because I'm not very technical. I'm not going to give a savvy answer. I'm one of those, I'm more about the art type. Like, to me, I think it's made the lower level players a little better in the sense of where, like, now you really got to show what you're about. All the big cats and all the big dudes, I feel like the way they've ever doctored their bats, they're just managed to, like, get a better handle on it. The skill's still there. Like, it's one of those things, whether you do something incredible to your equipment or not, whether you take the extra sauce or not. Like, the one thing that I keep mentioning it to everybody is, like, let's say there's a guy and he's using, some super duper, let's call it super spicy, extra saucy bat, and he's using extra sauce for his own body, and he's killing it. There are 9 other dudes that are doing the same, and they suck. Like, we keep forgetting that we only attack the guy that's killing it, Like, that's what's so crazy about, like, the equipment and what's not going. You still got to play the game. You still got to, like, as much as defense doesn't matter as much as offense, I hate admitting that, whatever, cool. But I'm here to catch all your balls, and you need 3 outs in order to hit, So it's like one of those things where I feel like the 240s, they're making, like, I guess, they're making it better in the sense of where, like, you got to field it now. But now everything is turf. There's almost every other field I see is now turf. So you almost don't even got to take grounders throughout the week, So it's like, so now all the defensive gurus, they're like, but I guess the 240s, they're really, there's not that many dudes that I could come off the top of my head. They'd be like, ha, you see, I knew you were full of shit. You can't hit it out for anything. You need a 220, So it's like, I can't really put my finger on it. All the monsters have been hitting it out. They consistently hit it out. And, like, the only thing that's happened is, like, the only thing that throws me off is, like, when it's really, really hot outside. When it's really, really hot outside, I have never seen so many fence scrapers. Like, just like everyone's on second base and everybody's like, you don't got to run. You hit it out. And you'll be like, what? And you'll be like, you hit the macaroni on the way out. And you're like, geez, I have seen a whole lot more warning track power, but no, I feel like the lower players are benefiting from it the most.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Now, John, I want to hear from you on this because not only you have the perspective of playing major teams, AA team, but also a pitcher, right? So you see the smoke is coming your way. What are kind of your thoughts? Has it created more parity? Is there big differences? What do you kind of see with it?
And D-Dub will probably confirm this. The last year of 220 bats, I felt like a lot of pitchers were getting drilled with the 220 bat and the Pro-M ball. It was extremely difficult to field the middle. I feel when I like the 240 bats, it gives the pitcher a little bit of a chance on some of these balls now that come back through the middle. The first year, last year with the 240 bats, I know personally, and I know some other people probably, it was an adjustment, maybe mental. It took me 4 or 5 different bat companies till I got settled on a 240 bat that I was comfortable with. Not like the other two guys. I mean, I know the DeMarini bats, they don't fail. I know we use the Slugger bats. They don't fail. They're a good product. I know they're good 240 bats. There are some questions with some of these other bats that they play on a Saturday, and they all fail on Sunday when they retest. What's going on with those bats? We haven't had a single slugger fail all year. I know, talking to Corny, the DeMarini, they don't fail. So what are some of these guys using? But I know a true 240 bat, I like it. I like it. It's maybe a few mile an hour slower off the bat than a 220 bat. And so you do have to have a little bit more skill hitting. The big guys, they're still going to hit their home runs. It doesn't matter. But I do like the change in bats as a pitcher. So.
Okay, that's interesting. J Mag, what are your thoughts on it?
I don't have a problem with the 240 bats. What John was just saying, I think there's some inconsistencies between bat companies, and I really do wish, and I've said this for years, I wish U-Trip would randomly cut bats after every tournament. You know, the 240 technology, I mean, if it's a true 240, you know, it should never get into the hundreds. You know, it should never be in a 200 bat. It should never be a 190. It should never be a 170. And I think there's some, you know, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into it, but I think it's some inconsistencies, and I really wish U-Trip would get ahead of it and get more into cutting bats. Come get my bat after every tournament. Cut it. I don't care, but cut everybody else's too, and I'm perfectly fine with it. But the most inconsistent thing to me is with the 240s is, so you dumb the bat down, and then the Pro-Am is not the same it was the first year with the 220s. The Pro-Am that year, it was hot in Virginia, and that ball was still cracking. Now we get sponge balls, which I almost feel like back like the Pro-Ams when it got it. And you do that with turf, and you get the debacle that became the AA and the A Worlds last year. You had your top-level softball scoring 3-5, 7-6. I mean, like, I think at nighttime, y'all's were 11-15 in the championship with the 2 best AA teams. So I think we gotta dial in a right ball or get the original Pro-Am, because you can't put the best defense, the best pitching, put them on turf, because you cannot hit it through somebody like Sanchez or Rain or anybody or JoJo. Nobody's gonna get out of the way. I don't care how hard you hit the ball on turf. Nobody's getting out of the way of the ball, and you're out, right? I mean, they're just not scared. There's no bad hops. So I really think we need to get more consistent on that level from a whole, because the last thing we want to do is have our top level softball playing a baseball score game at the World Series, you know, AA. The major, we play with a stadium, so that's why I'm not including the major, but we definitely got to do something, because it's kind of embarrassing when you got scores 3-5 and 3-6. And I'm all for the cutting and testing the bats. I'm so for that.
Right. I don't think anyone wants to see, 60-59, but I also don't think people want to see 4-3. Do you know what I mean? Like, and by the way, we were victims on that end last year. We lost in A Worlds. Our last game, our elimination game, was 7-6 thriller. Yeah. I mean, and that's what you saw last year at the bats. Couple things is that I want to note on this. Number one, we've been now with Pure for about 5-6 weeks, and I've been very impressed with, like, all our bats right out of the wrapper. We hit them a few times, all past compression, all 20 for 20. Do you know what I mean? Which is a great sign, and they've been holding up, which is really cool to see. Each company now, though, is trying to reinvent all the different companies, because they're dealing with a new technology. Do you know what I mean? And now it's just the second year of it. So some came out last year, so too much, too little. Do you know what I mean? Trying to figure that out. one thing about the 240 bats, I have to say this was kind of funny, was last year we were at the Busch, which used to be a major tournament in Arkansas, and the pitcher who ended up taking, I believe, MVP at B Worlds last year, Titus, for the Smash It B team, he said, here's the difference. He said, the 220 bats, no idea the ball went past me. Just standing there, no idea. He goes, now I can see it go past me with the 240. Yes. And I thought that was just a really funny way of kind of talking about it. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting that what I'd like to see, and this is just kind of outside the box, I just wish it was standardized across all of softball, across the whole thing, whether you're playing league night or conference or things like that, so that there's kind of consistent equipment. Do you know what I mean? Because I know that's kind of an interesting, completely different topic, but I'm saying that, we try to hit our 240 bats wherever we're playing. And when you're playing against 220s that are maybe failing, it's kind of a little bit of a different thing. But I think it's been a good thing for the game. And I do agree, though, that ball combo, I hope, could be improved, whether it's the batch of balls, whether it's whatever it is, because when you hit the socks, it's not the world's most fun thing, right? So,
exactly.
All right, folks, we're going to go to one more quick break here, and then we're going to hop back. I've got a couple, we're going to put them right on the spot for John. We're going to put John right on the spot with a couple of Chick-fil-a-ish specific questions, not the sandwich, the team. We'll talk about that here, coming right here, right after this break.
Win the game before you ever step on the field. Shop SmasherSports.com for all your baseball and softball needs. While bats get hotter and hotter, pitchers are left to fend for themselves. Now, the technology that defends batters and catchers is being used to defend softball pitchers. The Viper Pitcher's Helmet by Schutt is the only NOXI-certified pitcher's helmet on the market, making this the safest helmet in the game. Better visibility and protection, comfortable fit, complete head coverage, 1-year warranty. Get your Viper Pitcher's Helmet only at SmashItSports.com.
All right, folks, back here for our final segments here on the Hit and Sit podcast, the show. Let's go over to Mr. John here, Mr. John Natolly, who is, as we know, the sponsor, the pitcher, the man over at Chick-fil-A. 2 straight first place finishes. Pretty crazy. 10-0. In the last 10 games. That's not bad. Not bad. Can you walk us through, I mean, what I would say here, first question, can you walk us through a little bit of your weekend in Maryland, how that went? And I'm also going to add a question onto that is, what's going right for you guys right now? And how do you keep up that momentum?
Well, before we got to Maryland, obviously, Atlanta, we played a darn near perfect tournament in Atlanta. Had we hit a home run against Rock Run, we would have 15-run them. It would have been pretty much a perfect tournament. So we could not improve much on what we did in Atlanta. We just really couldn't. We came into Maryland as, for the first time in our conference lives, the favorite of a tournament. And a little bit of pressure. The bracket fell for us pretty easily. We didn't have to play Joel and S&E, who we thought we would play. We didn't have to play Nitro. We didn't have to play Anarchy, who has had our number as well. We wanted to play them because they've gotten us twice. But the bracket fell for us. We still played well. We didn't play as well as we did in Atlanta. But a lot of our guys have played in that complex before, so we're familiar with it. It's not the greatest field conditions. I don't know if Joel, how he felt about trying to field ground balls on that field, but it was a little rough later in the day. But we were used to that. We've played there before, and we played well enough. We had a couple close games with some B teams who were very game, and they played well. And J-Mag knows, as a major team, and Joel, once you get those higher letters, the double A beside your name, you're a target. People want to beat you, especially when people pick you as a favorite. Like, they want to beat us. So we had that, and we were lucky enough to play well still and come out and And yeah, win 10 in a row. It's crazy. We won. I looked at that driving home that night from Maryland, like 10-0. Wow, that's it's kind of hard to believe.
What's the, just curious, like, obviously when things are going right, they're going right. Everything seems to go right, right? How do you keep up I mean, it's just the vibes obviously got to be great with you guys right now, but do you guys is it just everyone just saying, hey, let's just keep this going? Like, is there something was there a flip switch, or what kind of happened there?
Well, we've played pretty well all year except for one tournament. The second duel, we didn't do so well in Florida, but we have a group who genuinely, and I'd say Monsta kind of has this too. The chemistry of them, I watch them; they enjoy themselves playing with each other. We genuinely like everybody on our team. If I wasn't playing softball with these guys, I'd just do life with these guys. These are good guys, and the key for us is that we have a good group who likes being with each other, genuinely roots for each other. We play a lot of guys. We have 18 on our roster. And we play as much as possible, get guys in, and I explain to the fellas, like, look, you're not going to play every game. And they bought in. It's a testament to the kind of character the guys I got. I mean, really, that's what it is. We got good guys. So.
And speaking of the guys, last question here, and then we're going to have one more big topic, and then we'll have a little bit of a wrap-up. But last question here is that the last two tournament MVPs for Atlanta and Virginia were JT Gregory and Zach Sanford. So the big question, where'd these guys come from?
I've played against JT for a while here in Northern Virginia. Excellent ball player. He's finally made the decision. What's
I have no idea what's going on over there.
I've played against JT. There's definitely a group of guys who can play at this level. They just have to make that decision that they want to. And JT's one of those people that I've played against who made the decision. I want to play at the upper level. He's a Northern Virginia guy along with me. And Zach Sanford has been all right. We were looking to pick up another pitcher in the fall because we had lost one of our pitchers. And Zach was playing a fall tournament with me. And he's just a good dude. He's such a good dude. And he was going to be our fourth outfielder. And he just has turned it. He's 30th in the conference and on base right now. The kid's just goofy and silly enough to not realize how well he's playing. He's a fun-loving kid. He keeps it loose on our team, and I'm so glad that we picked him up. He's from Maryland. He was playing at the B level the past 2 years, and he's a super good dude. So he fits in great with us.
Love it. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. It's always great to see. I mean, we see the 10-0, right? But now we get to hear the story behind the 10-0 and a little bit about some of the players. So thank you for sharing that, John. So I want to go to one last topic, and then we're going to have a prediction from everyone for this weekend. We'll get to that and kind of a wrap up here. But let's go to one last topic. And this kind of brings up, Atlanta and Maryland, and actually for us coming up in Kansas City a little bit, the smaller majors, putting those in air quotes, right? Why or why not? Should USSSA do something like condense the schedule, more double points or more duels to increase attendance? Or is it kind of a nice thing that sometimes there's ones that are packed and ones that aren't? Sometimes there's major teams, sometimes there's not. Let's start with you, Joel, on this one.
I don't understand the question.
The question is, smaller tournaments, good or bad for the conference? Let's just say that, number one, good or bad for the conference? And if they are bad, should they be doing something to try to increase attendance?
Well, that's just going to further my answer with the only thing that matters in every other tournament is to the non-major teams. Like, all these tournaments, like, they matter to me, they matter to everybody else. Like, it's really just practice for the major squads, or they're going to look and be like, I've been waiting to replace this third baseman with that guy right over there. But, like, the small tournaments, absolutely, like, I love going to all of them. Like, if I could, I'd go to all of them. I'd burn myself out. Yeah, of course. But, like, I like the idea of, the memories and the camaraderie that you spend with everybody put together, and it's just like that's a team thing. Like for me, softball is always going to be slightly better than just about every sport because there's so much action. Like there's almost no strikeouts. Everyone's getting hit a rocket at them, whether it's a soft rocket or a hard rocket, doesn't matter. But there's always some nonstop action, especially like at the small ones. The small ones where you get the biggest upsets. So those are my favorite. So like I definitely
so
like.
You do like playing. You like playing in the smaller ones.
Oh yeah, all day. Yeah,
John, what about you? Do you guys? Oh, sorry, Joel. I didn't want to cut you off. Do you have something you want to add there?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yep.
John, what would you like playing in the smaller ones? Are they good? Bad? Other?
Well, obviously, absolutely. The opportunity to win a tournament is, like J-Mag said, it's few and far between. And when you get to play, the first year, like we were like you, David, we were a B conference team. We chased around. We thought we had to go to the ones with the major teams. You become like fodder for them as you play the first round games.
A little bit of cannon fodder. Yeah.
A little bit. But as you learn, like, hey, let's pick a couple during the year that the major teams aren't going to, and let's see if we can win one. We got lucky enough last year. We've got 2 this year. Yes, you don't. When you play at this upper level, you don't get a chance to win very often. When you do, it's a big deal for our confidence. Unlike the major teams, is a little different, but absolutely, we enjoy it. And we get to go. Oh, and we get to go to different cities. We picked 5 different cities this year that we're going to. Go to new parks. Next year, we'll probably do the same thing. Pick a couple different places to go to. So you get to see different places, play different places.
Yeah, and quick lightning fast follow up on that, John. Do you like having a mix though? Too, where you kind of have the small and you play in some of the big, is that a good for you guys?
Smoky and the other big ones for sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so getting a mix. Jason, what about your thoughts on this? I mean, obviously coming slightly different perspective from a major player, but like, do you like sometimes playing in sometimes there are these smaller tournaments where a major team slips in or something like that, or 1 or 2. I remember last year in the Bush, there was Smash. It was the one major team. Like sometimes you see that. Do you like that? Do you think it's good, bad for conference? What's your thoughts?
Well, I've been on the other end of that too. Atlanta, my last year Precision, we went to Atlanta, and then at the last minute, Dan Smith put it on the schedule and came in, and we got second to them. So it kind of pissed me off. Being on an A and AA team, you kind of look forward. I feel like I've always been a big believer that you have to give your team some confidence and a chance to go where none of the majors at and see where you stack up against your own competition. So I'm all for that 100%. And so I've been on both sides of that. And I don't think a major team should go like Smash went to Virginia early this year and they were the only one. I mean, I just don't. They might can lose, but the odds they're probably gonna win. And I think those teams, somebody like Chick-fil-A was sitting there, and that's their home turf, and they got a real opportunity to win. And you see Smash It wants to come, and they don't need the points; they're not going to use them. So, and that's not no beating up Smash It, but I've been there on Precision where Dan Smith came and stole our shine, and we should have beat him. I mean, that's the whole point. But at the same time, it changes things. We were a small budget team, we're hard nosed, and so, yeah, I can see it. And I believe if you are an A or a AA sponsor, that you should play some little ones. Now, vice versa, and I know this is something way bigger than my pay grade, but I think U-Trip should move it around a little bit instead of Chicago being this big tournament and it eats Atlanta. Atlanta is like the most easiest traveled, cheapest place you can fly into, and we don't get no teams here. And it's my backyard. And then because you got Chicago the next week that eat all the major teams up. So I think U-Trip, and I know they probably have to book the fields out. That's why I said it's above my pay grade, and there's a lot goes on behind the scene. But I think they should give opportunities to different cities and different parks so everybody can see, Resmondo play or Monsta or Smash It or MPT and Chick-fil-A, competitive edge and all the big teams instead of, some people never get to see it. And that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, really, really good perspective there on that. DW, do you want to chime in here on this real quick with the kind of the smaller, bigger, thoughts?
For sure, a good mix. The major teams can't play every weekend. Ideally they should play every 3 weekends. And then I don't like tournaments either where I like an even amount of AA or an even amount of major teams at an event. I don't like an event that has one AA and no major, or one major and lower teams. So I say bring back the Bush, bring back the Dudley. And it's always good to see Chick-fil-A be the man, that weekend, the expected team to win, or last year S&E a couple times a year be the team to win, and put the pressure on them that way. I like to see it.
Yeah, and I'll add a slightly different thought of being a new Conference B team, right, is that, coming out from a different perspective is that, of course, you want to go out there to win every game, right? Everybody does, right? But we also know we're getting into realistic situations going into our first two tournaments. We knew what they were. Texas and Chicago. Knew what we're dealing with. Do you know what I mean? And you're going in there and you're like, man, but then we go 2-2 in Chicago, beat a AA team. And next thing you know, we got a lot of confidence going into our next tournament's a smaller one in Kansas City, where the highest team is one that you would not like, DW just said. Highest team is Nightmare at AA. Then you got all A and B, and then non-conference, right? Now, that doesn't mean to say that we're going to go in and, win the tournament or anything, but it's kind of a different mentality for a team like us, because we can go in there and be like, man, we could do some damage here. We could be, man, if things go right, we could be there on Sunday. We could be. Do you know what I mean? Also could go 0-2. But it's nice to have that kind of mix, and I think that's going to be something good for growing conference, if that's one of the goals. And having, the divisions the way it is, I think that's something that can continue. So that's just my quick thoughts on it. So we're going to wrap up with this question here. We only have a couple minutes left, so we'll make this kind of a quick one. Predictions for this weekend. I want everyone to pick a winner that's not yourself if you're playing in it. We've got how do you pronounce this even, DW? Is it Chattahoochee? Is that right?
Chattahoochee.
Yeah.
Chattahoochee. All right, good. I'm good at reading my interesting locations here. So we got the Chattahoochee Major. So here's what we'll go. We're going to go around the room. Give me your winner and give me one small shameless plug. So it could be for a bat. It could be for your team. It could be for a person, whatever you want to do. Give me a small shameless plug, and then we will wrap up here on this episode. So who am I going to put on the spot first? I'm going to go outside. I'm going to go with DW. You're going to go first on this one. Put you right on the spot.
The Pick'em game is on Softball Center still, for those of you who want to try to pick the winners, top 5, and see if you can win the Pick'em each week. I brought up my results. I picked Monsta again. I have Competitive Edge 2nd, Smash It 3rd, Resmondo 4th, and MPT Reynolds and Sports Reach tied for 5th. And my shameless plug is just going to be a question for Joel. At the Maryland Major, the team True was watching you guys play, and Elvin was coaching third base, and the True coach, or one of the players, he thought that maybe Elvin Herring looked younger now, like maybe he's Benjamin Button. Is he truly Benjamin Button? Is he getting younger?
Elvin, he looks pretty good for 1,000. He looks, if you tell me, he has his whole wits about him. He remembers absolutely everything. He does it all. He'll do that folded up thing. Now, I'll tell you what, 10 years ago when he has that jet black hair and that little bit of fitted going on with the coochie cutter shorts, like they did the old school T-ball third base coaches, that's a completely different Elvin. I was like, bring that guy back. However, that belly does get bigger with age, but up here it's a steel trap. That you can't get nothing by him. Like that he looks like he died yesterday. That's fine. I got no problem with that. But everything up here, he's with it.
That was a very unique shout out going with the question, DW. I love it. Well, Joel, since you're on there right now, give me who's gonna win it this weekend, and give me one quick shout out.
Bro, I want to give it to my boy Rocco Baldo. Let's just go bat draw. I guess another good one for him. That's like one of the few dudes that I've been pulling for forever. It's like all the dudes that have left us. You got Kendall, you got Rocco Baldo, and you got JT, and you got Renner. You got all the dudes that left us in the past. Like one of those dudes. I hope they all like kick it in the gear. They do whatever they got to do, and then I'll see you at the top. But I'm gonna go bat draw, and then shout out to my boy Joey, who always hits me with some insane knowledge about everything. And then my boy Dave Saunders, he's my personal therapist that just lets me do my 15-minute rant, like you guys say. So it's like one of those things. And then to the wife that just lets me talk shit all day. It's like one of those things. So
I like it. So who's our winner this weekend?
Bad draw.
Bad draw. All right, so that's Smash It, right? Smash It Thunder. Okay, got it. That's one. They have 47 sponsors. You got to make sure we choose which ones go up front. John, let's go for you. Who's gonna win this weekend? Let's start with that.
I already took Monsta for the major, so I'm gonna go somewhere different, and I think it'll be Monsta versus Smash It in the championship. And Smash It seems to win on these smaller tournaments. They've got 4 already. I'm gonna pick Smash It. I'll pick my boy Katz. I'll make him happy and pick Smash It.
All right, and any quick, a link, a shout out, a shameless plug, a random question.
One of our sponsors, I got my chain jersey on from BAF Sports. Got the Chick-fil-A chain. BAF Sports in Virginia here does a uniform, so I'll shout them out.
Love it. All right, Jason, who's gonna a non-Monsta team that's gonna win it this weekend?
I'm gonna go with not picking any of them other guys. I'm gonna go with Sports Reach or Cut 4, but I'm gonna go Sports Reach.
And Cut 4, so you play in the first round. Just a fun fact. Yeah.
No, never mind.
Cut 4, you play in the very first game. So just a heads up.
Kelsey, I didn't look at the bracket. I promise I ain't looked at the bracket. All right, Cut 4, they don't stand a chance. I'm gonna go with Mike Haney and Robbie Spear and Sports Reach, and they'll beat us and we'll get second. They'll get first.
All right, sounds good. All they have to do to get to you guys is beat Rismondo, MPT, and Smash It. So that should go well for them. We'll see how it goes. Any quick shout outs on the way out?
Yeah, I want to give some history right here. I know y'all keep calling John Chick-fil-A, man, but I'm from Hateville, Georgia. And do you know what that is, John?
I certainly do. Do. That's the home of Chick-fil-A, the Dwarf House.
Original Chick-fil-A. I grew up right behind it. So I'm also got Chick-fil-A ties and alumni over here. I grew up right by it. But, yeah, I didn't know if he knew that. But,
I did.
It started in my neighborhood. I knew Mr. Truett Cathy. I knew his son. He'd go to the rec center and sing to the elderly. Like, I've seen him a million times. It's insane. But shout out to Mike Cornell, D. Marini. And, thank y'all for having me.
Thanks for being here. I'll go real quickly on my prediction on the way out. I'm going with Monsta this weekend. I like their part of the bracket, and we'll see how it goes. So Monsta is my prediction for this weekend. Let's see, shameless plug or shout out. I'll go with, I want to give a big shout out to Jeremy Fry and Terry Lambright on the Rock Run Silverbacks. They came on my podcast this past week, and it was really cool to be able to talk to those guys and learn about their team and their history and stuff like that. And you can check that out at sitemanssoftball.com/podcast. So, of course, you'll find episodes here of the Hit and Sit podcast here up on the Conference USSSA YouTube channel on USSSALive. I believe that's what the channel is called there. We'll be sharing it all over Facebook as well. I want to thank our very esteemed panel and guests today, Mr. John, Mr. Jason, Mr. Joel, Mr. DW. Thanks for everyone in the back for helping us out here with the tech squad at USSSA, and we'll see everyone next time.
And hit that like and share button, because that's what gets this podcast to all the softball people that don't know about it.
Boom. Like and share, my friends.
Also, JMag29 on IG.